Hi there! Today I'm doing a video on a method of how to don surgical gloves. For those of you who work in the veterinary field, like myself, or the human medical field, you'll be familiar with the term open gloving. This is a method of putting on surgical gloves aseptically after donning a surgical gown and your hands have come through the cuff of the gown. Open gloving can also be done when you're not wearing a surgical gown and just an ordinary scrub top like what I have on. So bear with me and I will do my best to show you. I do have a latex sensitivity, so the gloves that I'm using today are neoprene and not rubber latex. The only difference between the neoprene and latex surgical gloves is the color. As you'll see, mine are a really cool green color. I've also found that the neoprene gloves are a little less stretchy than the natural rubber latex. However, the method to put them on is completely the same, so have no fear. You have to use your imaginations here because I don't have a surgical drape with me. So the checkerboard tea towel that I have is going to serve as our little sterile area that I'll be working in today to show you what my hands are doing. So back down we go. So here's my pack of gloves. Normally gloving occurs after you have surgically scrubbed your hands and you are clean but not sterile. So, as you can see here, there's a black line. You can only handle this package below this black line. You can't touch anywhere else because your hands are not sterile. So, we turn this way, touching only below the black line. When you open to this point, you can see that each side is labeled left and right. So we want to unfold here. And if you grab these two bottom corners, you can turn these sides outward and it'll open the top that is folded the same way because you can't touch it there to open the package. So here we go, my really cool Jolly Green Giant colored green gloves. As you can see, the cuff of the glove here is folded upwards. So this section is actually the inside of the glove that will be touching your skin and not be actually in the surgery or touching the patient. So you can actually touch this area of the glove. You cannot touch up here because the fingers are the outside of the glove that's going to be coming into contact with the patient and with the surgical field. So I'm left-handed, so I typically start with my right hand. However, if you're right-handed, you can start with your left hand or whichever hand you want. So, because you can touch this outside portion of the glove, you can just pick it up. And keeping your hand like this and your thumb tucked into your palm is the easiest way to slide your hand into the glove. So, picking up here, and carefully, you just want to work it on slowly. You don't want to pull it on because you don't want this cuff to roll backwards. So, oh goodness, just working it on carefully. And also, you don't want to do this with your thumb because it'll cause the cuff to roll backwards. And normally when you're doing this, you do take a step back from the surgical field, but for the sake of the webcam, I have to do it immediately over. So use your imaginations and just imagine that I'm not immediately over this surgical field and my other glove. So you're just carefully working on this cuff around your hand, being careful not to touch this part of the glove because your hand is not sterile and that part is. So kind of tricky because these gloves are very tight and clearly have never been worn, so they're not conformed to a hand. So just carefully wiggle your fingers in there and work. Oh goodness, sorry, I keep missing the webcam here. Okay, so see how I have it on and my thumb is still in the middle? So this is the tricky part, to get this glove onto your other hand. Now, because your fingers are the sterile part of the glove, you cannot touch this cuffed part. You have to slide your fingers underneath the cuff, which can be a little tricky. It takes practice, and believe me, I had to practice a lot. So you just, okay, for the sake of the video, I'll turn the glove this way so that you can see what I'm doing, but just pretend I didn't touch. So you just want to try and get that edge up like that. Oh goodness. It's another thing with the neoprene gloves here. They are a lot more sticky than the latex. Okay, there we go. So you've got your glove up like this, and you just want to make sure that these fingers here don't touch the rolled edge of your other glove. So same method, hand with your thumb in at your palm, and just carefully slide. Okay, I think the fingers of this glove are touching the cuff of my other hand, so just ignore that for now and concentrate on the method that I'm doing, and then later, as you practice more, you can fine-tune those little parts of not having sterile touching non-sterile. And one of the tricky things is stretching this glove out so that you can get, oh gosh, your fingers into the right finger spaces, and my two fingers are stuck into the middle finger here, so okay, I can't get them, so pull that out. I didn't do that. Ignore that part. Okay, so you really want to reef on this cuff here and stretch and twist this hand here and this hand here. So you just want to wiggle the fingers to get them in there and keep stretching this glove all the way up your arm. Oh, there we go. See? There. And now, because these fingers are sterile, you can touch this side of the glove, but the method is still the same. You have to get your fingers under here because you can't touch where this cuff is. So this part's a little easier. You just get it in, and you want your index finger here by your thumb and your pinky finger here by your other pinky, and same thing, just stretch and twist. Stretch and twist all the way up your arms, and there you go. You have officially donned your gloves in the open gloving method. And now, while you're waiting for the vet to scrub in, you stand here like a good surgical assistant with your hands folded so that you do not touch any unsterile surface, person, or animal. I hope that was helpful. I did make a few little mistakes. This is my first video, but just remember to focus on the method that I did and not the little mistakes that I made along the way, because you're going to make mistakes the first few times you do this. It is hard, and believe me, it took me a long time to do it. I still hate doing open gloving, but I choose to do it because I need the practice for it. So hopefully any vet tech students, vet students, human nursing students, whatever out there who watch this video find it really helpful, and I'll try and do some more videos in the future. So until next time, happy gloving!